Hi everyone, this is Sean from 8-Bit Shinobi, and we're live with your friendly neighborhood Tyler Man, Kayla, and Sean C. So, two Seans for the price of one tonight. Sean squared. So, Tyler, do you want to tell us a little bit about your series, The Undatable X-Men?
Sure. Recapping from how many shows have you had me on now? It's two prior to this.
Yeah, two.
All right, if you didn't catch any of those, it's basically an alternate universe where all your favorite X-Men are geeks. Got bronies, otakus, Magic the Gathering users, all that fun stuff. We try to make it as cliche as possible because, well, geek lives matter. And we actually have two exciting members from the cast. We have the editor, the audio editor, excuse me, from the pilot episode, Kayla.
Woo.
And we have another voice actor, Sean, who some of his confirmed roles include, but are not limited to, Sebastian Shaw, Mimic, Major Domo, and as of season 2, Deadpool.
Oh, nice. The Merc with the mouth.
Yeah, Sean, you were telling me when you were recording the lines, you had to stop periodically because you were laughing at it a bunch, right?
Yeah, I was. I have a very I'm supposed to be an adult, but I still have a very childish maturity level, and anything with like farts or profanity is just super funny. So a lot of times, if I'm like reading ahead of time where I'm supposed to uh, do the voice for, and then I'll end up laughing, and like even during like my takes too, I have to stop myself and re-record it because I ended up laughing in the middle of it.
Terrific. It does remind me of that South Park episode. It was the human centipede one. Specifically, if you recall, what you call it, Trey was trying to record the lines as the Japanese guy.
Yeah.
But he had to keep stopping himself because he was laughing at it so much. Great episode if you haven't seen it. It was around season 15, I believe. But the whole thing was just a mockery of iPads and the human centipede and Apple agreements. And fun fact, Kayla was not our first editor, but actually our second. We actually have a mutual friend that was, and I'm not going to give too much into detail, but he left for personal reasons. Though, fun fact, he did want to audition for a couple of the voices, I should say, and he claimed to be, and I quote, the biggest Marvel fan. So, like, you know what? Okay, it's nice seeing another Marvel fan. Kayla's already trying to hold back a laugh because I already know where this is going.
It's really freaking funny, so I'm trying not to laugh.
So I gave him the role of Toad. And then, surprise, surprise, he gave me Mario Toad. It's safe to say that Toad now has a more Waspinator-esque style voice.
That's a good throwback.
We also kill him in just about every episode. What was that noise, and was it intentional?
Oh my gosh, people are texting me, and I'm gonna mute because my computer makes weird noises when I get texts, and I don't know how to turn it off.
All right. And is that other noise? Right now, we're good. We're good.
Is that kids screaming in the background? Because that's probably me.
I heard kids screaming in the background.
Yeah, that's
probably. Remember,
me.
audience, spay and neuter your podcast hosts.
Kids, remember to wear protection so you cannot be the father.
But yeah, Sean is also actually going to be in a couple of other upcoming productions. I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say if you like shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Tick, He-Man, and all those other wonderful Saturday morning cartoons, this is definitely going to be the project for you. We will be releasing the Kickstarter of it come February, and it was actually something where I'm working on with Rickman, based on one of his creations. So stay tuned for that.
I can't wait for that. He was really fun to have on the show, so I can't wait to have him on again.
Well, I can reach out to you and see if there's anything he'd like to promote. But Sean, I gotta ask you, the 4 characters that you're confirmed for, do you have any favorites?
Favorites per se, I like Sebastian Shaw. Just because I don't. Well, I guess later on he does. Then eventually he's like ends up being one of like the main bad guys. But like the way I approach the character, I kind of when I was doing my research on it was kind of like he was almost kind of like a Venom character in a sense, where he's just kind of like a standoffish. I want to do my own thing type of thing. Doesn't really rely on other people. And then I remember when I auditioned for him, and you're like, yeah, he can't sound like that because that's all the reference that I found was him. It was a much older character, and you're like, yeah, we can't do that. He has to be like somewhat of a younger kind of early or mid 20s, 30s, not what I portrayed him as like I think it was more like a 40s plus voice, which was a little bit more raspy.
He did give 40s, 50s vibes.
Mm-hmm. I kind of took it as the approach of like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. That's kind of the approach I took to it because he's kind of proper and full of himself and thinks like he's better than everybody, sort of. And then I think overall, Deadpool is probably my favorite character, like much like everybody else, just because he can kind of be mouthy. He can do whatever he wants. He can break the fourth wall if he wants to. It doesn't matter what he does. It's also an attention grabber for everybody else too.
Quick spoiler, he's actually going to make his debut in the Wakandan Prince Scam episode, where we finally go to Wakanda to see is Storm's boyfriend real or not. Turns out he is. And on top of that, it turns out his very own Fearsome Four has taken over Wakanda. That, of course, being composed of Dr. Doom, Claw, Killmonger, and Manape.
The question is when Storm divorced Black Panther or whatever, vice versa, does she get half of Wakanda?
Was he
That's a fair question.
I believe he was.
How do the laws of Wakanda work? I mean, their whole ruling thing is just a pissing contest. So it's not like an election or something. It's a king of the mountain, so to speak. So how do divorces work over there? The real question is, does she still obtain her citizenship there?
I mean, technically, you're married. I think you automatically get that role, I would assume.
Yeah, but this is also a world that has freaking Norse deities come to life and freaking Hulks and God knows what else.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? But Kayla, riddle me this. How familiar are you with Marvel, excluding movies, though?
Not like super familiar. My dad, on the other hand, reads the comics, so he actually knows his stuff.
Oh, I actually did see him at that comic book festival I went to for networking.
Oh yes, you both ended up sending me the selfie together, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I occasionally go to conventions to network. Find voice actors, sponsors, promote the show, that sort of fun stuff.
Ah, neat.
So that's just something I do for it. Honestly, right now, most exciting thing I can share about Undatable X-Men is that we're going to be releasing our next episode, Wolverine versus the Hulk, some point after Christmas, but at some point before New Year's Eve. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Yeah, a little setback due to personal reasons and shit weather.
Oh, it is the season, so things happen.
Especially around the holidays. It's always around the holidays.
Yeah, I'd rather just skip to New Year's.
Valid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't. How much can you tell us about the episode? Like maybe.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Wolverine did make his debut in a X-Men comic. He actually made his debut in a Hulk comic because he was created to take down the Hulk. So we decided to have a little fun with it. I'm using we royally since I also wrote the script. But, I should say we generally because we have so many talented people in that episode that, we decided to make it more of a court case versus as opposed to a battle versus. That episode is subsequently followed with a midquel called 12 Angry Mutants. If you haven't seen the movie 12 Angry Men, I implore you to do so. Not the 90s remake, but the 50s original. And if memory serves correctly, that's still on Amazon. And it's one of those movies that definitely developed a trope over the years.
Question: can you tell us if there's anyone representing each character, or are they representing themselves in court?
A man who represents himself in court has a fool for a client. That said, they each do have people representing them. She-Hulk is naturally representing the Hulk. And I'm spacing on her name, but we have a mutant lawyer representing Wolverine. Oh, I think it was Evangeline something or other. Her whole mutant power is that she can turn into a dragon.
Ah. Is she one of the Morlocks? Or am I thinking about someone else?
You're probably thinking about someone else.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking of
in a couple of episodes, by the way, but no. She is not. She is a lawyer. She's too rich to be living underground.
Ah. Yeah, who wants to live underground anyways? But I guess if you're an ugly mutant, you have no choice.
I mean, all the X-Men don't exactly meet beauty standards, but they live in a nice mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they do have nice powers, so it's kind of a trade-off. Though the real messed up thing is that the X-Men know that there are mutants living underground. Why don't they do anything to help them?
True. That's the question.
Yeah. Then again, I guess we can always ask ourselves about that for the homeless people in New York City. Not that I plan on visiting there anytime soon, with everything that's going on.
That is a valid point. New York City is a scary, scary place.
Yeah. But it is the location of our upcoming episode, the X-Men Go to Comic-Con. That might be one of our longest ones to date.
Oh, that'd be a fun episode.
It is, and like I told everybody, I didn't want to set deadlines because this is a pro bono thing, but I'm setting deadlines. So expect to see that one, our next one, Wolverine versus the Hulk, this month, and expect to see 12 Angry Mutants at some time on or before the 12th of February.
I'm just glad we have a set schedule now. So like now the audience can kind of get into rotation of, oh, okay, so now we have a little bit more of a steam in the train where we can get stuff rolling out and get, more people interested.
Thank you for being patient.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I really didn't want to set these deadlines because I mean, if this was a paid thing, I would be more willing to give them, but somebody took advantage of it. I'm not going to say who out of respect for them. So, needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few, or in this case, the one. So, but moving on, yes, we will be having deadlines for X-Men. And in case we don't have any viewers right now, we got 3 witnesses.
True.
And that one person that is or is not online.
Well, either way, this is just something I'm publicly saying right now. Yes, we will have deadlines. Yes, the episodes will be more steady. And yes, next year we will be having our very own Christmas episode.
That's gonna be cool.
I don't want to give too much away, but it involves Santa and the MRD.
That sounds like it could be very interesting.
It is. And, well, yeah, it is. So that's what we're aiming for. But we do have a lot of great episodes coming up. Sean, I'm not sure if you had the chance to look them over, but of the titles we listed, were there any that really grabbed your attention?
I think the one I thought it kind of caught me off guard because I was thinking of like, oh, we're doing X-Men stuff, and then the one that I did with Sebastian Shaw for the Day Spa episode, I thought it kind of threw me out because I was like, I'm used to like think I was in the mindset of, oh, we're gonna be fighting people, we got this big plot going on, and then there's like, oh, we're just bringing people in to have them a quick massage and get it in the tanning bed, and then eventually I won't give it away, but like eventually like some other stuff happens. But I thought that title specifically kind of threw me off a little bit because I was like, this isn't really what these characters would do, you know. So it was pretty funny.
Well, I mean, it's a parody. It's like if you've ever seen Robot Chicken, half the characters don't do what they would normally do.
Yeah.
That said, I gotta say one of my favorite sketches is the Keebler Elves one, and they got the Cookie Monster there. I really enjoyed that one.
Have you ever watched the Marvel What the skits?
Oh, the What Ifs. Yeah, I watched some of them.
They've been okay. Not their best work, but
I think my biggest gripe was how they were just solo. Season 2 was solo around the female version of Captain America. I thought like they could have just kept doing multiverse stuff versus just focusing on one character. Yeah. Like
Actually,
they did in season 1.
I meant the parody channel. What Marvel? What the?
Oh, I thought you meant the What If on Disney.
It's kind of like almost like their version of Robot Chicken, where they did a whole episode where Wolverine was getting pushed around from being on the X-Men and the Avengers team. So he pulls all these pranks on the different characters, and one of them, he TP's Wakanda, and then he puts the X-Men was here, and then he has like he's kind of dressed like Wolverine, but in a Wakanda suit, and he's like, it had to have been the X-Men, bub. I mean, Your Highness.
That feels like something Deadpool would do more than Wolverine would do.
Yeah. Him dressed up as Wolverine TPing Wakanda. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that was okay. What streaming service is that on? Is it a YouTube thing?
It's a YouTube thing. It's called Marvel What the.
Marvel What the. All right. I'll add it to the queue. And a lot of the stuff I watch, I usually just do for inspirations for X-Men or any of the other varied projects or stuff people do recommend to me.
I think one of my favorite ones was when they did the whole Spider-Man thing, where all the bad guys were like Doc Ock was Spider-Man the whole time, and everyone was thinking, what would I do if I was Spider-Man? And Bertrox Saliber is like that power would be good for me. It's like, use your webs. No. I only leap.
You know, Kayla was also on my podcast a while back. She did a couple episodes.
Yes.
And nominated 2 different characters for specials I had. I did a Squid Game special for my 50th episode. And I did a a tournament of power for the 80th episode, and one of the teams we had was Marvel. All things considered, it was kind of underwhelming. I mean, considering the vast characters we have, I mean, your choice was better than your last one. No offense.
I didn't know what to pick for the Squid Game one, so I just picked the first character that popped into my head.
Basically, the rules were that they had to be human, They like human, no mutants, no cyborgs, no half breeds. They can't use any weapons of any kind, just whatever they have on them. She chose Malcolm for Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, I couldn't think of any humans, so I guess I probably saw some Malcolm in the Middle.
No, but that was we've had characters from DC, Marvel, live action series. We even had David Xanatos from Gargoyles, if you can believe that.
I don't even know. I don't know why, but when you were saying that, I was thinking of like Howard the Duck for some reason. But I was like, oh, he can't be one because he's a mutant technically.
No, but he would have been an interesting character for a Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tournament of Power. I chose Spider-Man, my favorite superhero, which that one actually makes sense.
Specifically the Topher Grace one, right? But yeah, no, we had some interesting picks. We had two different Hulks, Smart Hulk and the Maestro. A lot of human-based characters. I'm totally blanking on the rest of them. We actually had Sauron, believe it or not. Who you
fun fact, I know him.
You know Pterodactyl Man?
Yeah.
Well, you heard it, folks. Your host is crazy.
Like a fox.
If that's what you call it. But yeah, anyway, we had him as a pick, which was something interesting. Oh, one of the rules was you can't fly unless you have like wings or something. So, characters like Hawkman or Angel could go, but we can't have Superman in the air. Just because.
Yeah, formalities. It's fine.
Speaking of Superman, have you guys seen the trailer?
I haven't. I got to be honest. DC really needs to cut back with the live action stuff. I mean, the concept looks promising, but I think at this point it's just a pissing contest with Marvel.
You mean the trailer where Superman did the Yamcha pose when he fell on the ground?
Yeah. For the record, Kayla, it's a Dragon Ball reference.
Oh my lord! I laughed so hard. I was like, "No, they did not."
Our mutual friend who we discussed earlier was the one who sent me the trailer for Superman. So surprised I actually saw it. That's how I found out there was a movie.
Yeah, there were an interesting bunch of cameos from what I saw in the trailer. Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner of all Green Lanterns.
I think my biggest gripe with this whole thing is how they keep recasting people. They should have just Henry Cavill was I wouldn't say he's perfect for the role because like most of the stuff he plays with and he's good because he likes to stick to what's credible and what's actually part of the whatever project they're doing. Like The Witcher, for instance, he wanted to stay on the books. He wanted to stay to the lore. But yeah, they just keep recasting people, and it's just it's getting tiresome because I want to like the people they who's playing the next whatever, but it's at the same time they're so frequent. It's just I don't know.
I mean, you could blame it on a multiversal thing, but
yeah, well then that's the card they're playing with too. Is we can do the multiverse and spin this off this way or whatever, and then eventually they all intertwine into a bigger project. But at the same time, it's just I don't know. The fact that they just keep changing hands so much, I wish they would just stick with one person for X amount of years or whatever.
And yet they couldn't replace T'Challa. Weird.
I mean, probably out of respect for Chadwick, I could see that.
Yeah, but I mean, the show must go on.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you didn't stop making animated Batman shows just because we lost Kevin Conroy. Rest in power.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. They did replace Rhodey in the second one.
Nah, I'm sure they had some sort of personal issue there.
Yeah, I think it was something to do with money or something.
It seems to be going around a lot.
Oh yes.
I mean, it is an entertainment business, regardless of who you think it is. It's like the personal problem I find, Sean, as a voice actor, I want to hear your opinion on this. My biggest problem with animated movies now is that they are really more focusing on names than talent.
See, then that's like a gray area for me because I get they want to put big names on a show because that's what brings in your audience. Like, oh, Kevin Costner is playing whoever, or whoever is playing this guy, and I get that, the advertisement part of it, but at the same time, it's like whoever played that character in like Justice League Unlimited, for instance, like I just kind of throwing that out there. Like a lot of those voice actors in that show were really good. I felt like they fit the character well. And I felt like a lot of it could have transitioned over to other stuff, but then they just completely recast for whatever reason, whether that be, like I said, for advertisement reasons, or if that's just saying like this guy can do it a little bit cheaper than this guy, but then you're giving up quality for, just quantity at that point. Like, sure, anybody can do the voice or do a voice of that said character, but at the same time, that person could be acquainted with that character in a previous project, and maybe they'll put a little bit more emotion into that versus the guy who's just there to read it and get a paycheck.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't have big names voicing characters, but you got to find a balance between the two. Like Mark Hamill is already a recognizable name, but as we've seen with characters like Firelord Ozai, Joker, Skips from regular show, that he actually knows how to deliver on the voice as well.
I always forget that he plays Ozai, but then I like remember and I'm like, dude, it like exactly, like he gave that emotion of being a dick and being a bad father, but that he also pulled. I'm assuming he pulled like some of that Joker aspect of being heartless and being that menacing character from just pulling it from somewhere else, but obviously sticking to the copy.
Or maybe he was watching Star Wars again, but trying to sympathize with Darth Vader's point of view.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember when I watched him. I don't know if it was online or if I was there, but he was talking about how when he was younger, he liked to do voices. And his dad says, "You're not going to make money voicing Porky Pig," or something like that.
Boy, was he wrong.
Voice acting, the PC way of pleasing people with your mouth.
By the way, the reference I use is being in a padded box but not being called crazy.
Also, yes.
So, yeah, I think voice acting is a lot of fun. I think it's fun to be able to express yourself and kind of put yourself in another pair of shoes and be something for somebody's passion project that they love, something that they're putting their effort into, and they want you to also put your effort into it because they want their show to be great, obviously. And I told that to a director recently. I was like, this is your passion project. I want to do exactly what you need of me. And then we spitball ideas back and forth, and sometimes that works out. Sometimes they just want you to do this specific thing, and you just got to roll with it, obviously. So,
and this is why I keep you on the payroll.
Yeah.
But Sean, are you looking forward to our season finale?
I'm looking forward to all of it. Like, I'm having a blast doing a bunch of stuff with.
Yeah, but I ask that specifically because that's basically a you and I episode.
Yeah. I love collabing with you and working with you on stuff. Yeah.
And I
can't wait to be your butler. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So basically, for those of you that don't know, Mojo is going to be our basically our villain for the finale of season 2. Sean's playing the butler or major domo.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, Colossus is my most frequent voice, but Mojo is my absolute favorite voice that I donate to the X-Men series. He's kind of like, I've said this before, he's like 2 parts Gilbert Gottfried and 1 part Kim Jong-il from Team America World Police.
I can see that.
Yeah. So it kind of basically like says like, Domo, hello! Do you have any idea how fucking busy I am? So yeah, I just try not to do the races, Mark. I mean, I can, but I'm wider than a charcuterie board, so I probably can't get away with it for a sentence or two. So yeah, he's definitely the most vocal, most out there character I'm currently doing. But I'm one of those I can do it for long characters. Really takes a toll on the throat.
Yeah. I found the best thing to do is like a spoonful of honey, and then like to help with coating the throat and helping with your I'm not sure what to call that little flappy muscle down there that clicks together when you talk, but that and like not to say lemon juice per se, but like lemonade, but not so much sugar, because sugar is obviously not that great for your vocal cords. But staying hydrated is the number one thing too, and it also helps with mouth noises on the mic too. So if you ever hear like mouth clicks or anything like that, just stay hydrated.
Right, but yes, we're bringing back Mojo. That would be a great X-Men movie character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Magneto's cool, Apocalypse, yay, but it's like
they're in like Magneto's in every movie.
Yeah, and that falls back to that drawing the attention of the people that are paying to see the movie. Big name. Here's this guy. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but it does get tiring when you have a well-established comic book team or hero. And pretty much every movie they have, you have them going against the same character. Batman always goes against Joker. Superman always goes against Luthor. Spider-Man always goes against a goblin or two. There's a reason why we call it a rogues gallery. Like,
speaking of Spider-Man, I watched an interview with Ryan Reynolds and Andrew Garfield, and Ryan Reynolds like looked at Andrew and gave him like a serious, like meaningful compliment. Like, looked this man dead in his face and was like, "You were a great Spider-Man. I love your Spider-Man." He's like, "I wish they would do more of your Spider-Man." And Garfield was, being humble and trying to play it off. But like, I feel the same way. Like, I like Tom Holland. I get it. Like, he's young. I like his Spider-Man, sure, but like I like Andrew. I mean, obviously Toby's gonna be my number one, but like Andrew is a good second for me, just because of the emotion that he gave, especially when they shot the web out, and unfortunately she decided to slap the ground a little bit before he caught her. But like, just that emotional range is what kind of drew me into him being more of a relatable character, as far as like people who've gone through that and whatnot, like losing a loved one.
But the ending of the second movie was a real fuck you to the audience.
Yeah.
Like, we had a Sinister Six, but then we didn't.
They need a new Ghost Rider. That's what we really need. We need to reignite that flame. We need a new Ghost Rider.
Speaking of the Sinister Six, I was talking to a colleague earlier. Is like, why don't we do a Sinister Six movie, or like kind of like building to one, but with the villains' perspective, and have them actually be freaking villains, and have it be like a heist movie, and that the end character, the final boss character, is Spider-Man stopping them, and it's from their perspective.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Riddle me this. Which Sinister Six? Are we going with the original six, or are we mixing and matching?
I would like to go with the original because I'm classic, but whatever works, I guess, because it changes so much.
I mean, wasn't the original? It was Electro, Sandman, Kraven, Vulture, Mysterio, and I want to say Chameleon. I could be wrong.
I thought it was Rhino. I might be wrong though too.
Now, they didn't have a powerhouse like Rhino yet.
Yeah.
I know that, yeah.
I mean, I know he appeared in a Sinister Six, not the original Sinister Six.
It was the animated series, the original one, and the spectacular one. They had Rhino as a member.
I mean, that would be interesting. Maybe if we're going to do an elemental, maybe Hydro Man. I mean, that'd be cooler.
They should do a live action Solomon Grundy. That was a good story arc, I think. Especially in Justice League Unlimited, I thought was good. Like when he eventually.
I'm gonna I have to take care of something. Do you mind running the show while I'm gone?
Might as well, sure.
Thanks, man.
I mean, even if I said no, you're still going to leave anyway. So anyway, yeah, interesting concept for a Sinister Six. But yeah, no, my biggest problem with comic movies today is that they always want to bring in the well-known villains as opposed to all the other ones that exist.
Mm-hmm.
Or even well-known characters. Like, I don't know, a Lobo movie. That would be a great movie. It's like freaking.
Yeah, Lobo would be cool, but at the same time, though, he's so overpowered. Like, what's the story going to be about? Just him annihilating everything and just killing everything?
I mean, if we can have a Predator movie, we can have a Lobo movie.
Oh, they're coming out with the second Prey movie, which the first one I thought was pretty good. If we're going off topic.
Or, make a Howard the Duck movie. That was.
Yeah, we need a reboot of that for sure.
Yeah, then that means we also have to listen to more Seth Green.
No.
Yeah, he did the Howard the Duck voice.
The original one?
No, the MCU one.
Oh, no, yeah, I was talking about the original one. Yeah, no.
Do you recall who did the original?
I don't remember who did it, but no, that voice for the original was, I think, probably a little bit more in my wheelhouse, just because, I mean, Seth Green's cool, but, like, I don't know. Like, you can definitely tell, like,
used a lot.
Yeah. And every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, it's Chris. So.
Or the myriads of voices you see in Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Kayla, pin that idea for something we got going on next month.
You got it.
I mean, if we're talking outside the realm of DC and Marvel, riddle me this, Sean. Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms. Do you think that's a good casting?
I think so. I think he brings like an authoritative figure, like when he was playing one of the main characters in like Pacific Rim. I think he probably would fit that character.
I think Nick Offerman would have made a better Man-at-Arms.
No.
I mean, if you bring like the Ron Swanson action, but just less I hate the government attitude, then you have yourself a decent Man-at-Arms.
Yeah.
But that should be an interesting movie all the same. Kayla, I'm not sure if you know, but He-Man and Masters of the Universe was a very popular 80s show. It's like, if you're going to do a 4 horsemen of popular 80s programming, it would probably be He-Man, Turtles, Transformers, and what would you think the fourth one would be? Thundercats?
Ooh, Thundercats is a good pick.
Yeah, it would be Thundercats. It would be those 4.
I've heard of most of those.
Let's see, there you go. Wait, before or after Robot Chicken?
I watched it before Robot Chicken, but I'm showing my age.
Yeah.
I'm probably showing my age too.
Oh, there you go. Do you think a live-action Batman versus the Turtles movie could work? I've seen the animated one. It's pretty cool for what it is.
I think they need to do like a live-action, like if it was going to be a Batman collab, they should do like The Last Ronin with Batman.
I can see that definitely being a thing. I'd like to see a Fantastic Four movie that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And that doesn't use frickin' Doctor Doom. I mean, seriously. They've got so many, like, okay, they get their powers, they land in Russia, and then boom, they deal with the Red Ghost and the Super Apes. I mean, it's a different concept, but it works. Yeah. Them fighting genetically engineered monkeys.
They have that in Justice League too. So.
Well, actually, no. Gorilla Grodd's just a gorilla mutate, I think, or gorilla meta-human, air quote.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I think that's the gray area, but yeah. But yeah, they have that like
gorilla.
But they also have that like hidden gorilla city like Wakanda.
Yeah, except that one's cooler because it actually is hidden and nobody knows it.
Yeah,
Everybody knows Wakanda, but nobody knows Gorilla City.
yeah.
Except the people and apes that need to know about Gorilla City. So yeah. So that'll be a fun versus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like you ever heard of wife swapping? You do character swapping. Like, don't explain how. Like, Gorilla Grodd somehow finds himself in Wakanda, and Black Panther somehow finds himself in Gorilla City.
Yeah, that would be different.
Yeah.
I
How's it going to work out?
swap, so I get this one.
You literally reminded me of Captain America and Avengers just now. Ooh, I understood that reference. So I don't know who would be licensing that. I don't know who would be in charge of casting, but I would love for that to be a thing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, or Batman versus Iron Man swap. It's like,
Both
Tony, you're not supposed to know martial arts. I'm Batman.
Both. Well, they did like a multiverse kind of Tony Stark Batman sort of.
Really, is the multiverse just played out at this point?
I think so, and it's spilling over into video games now too, which is kind of
Yeah, I mean, South Park did a great episode, parody.
The Pandaverse.
Yeah, that was it. Great episode.
I get the hype behind it and stuff like that, and like the last Doctor Strange movie I thought was a really good indication as to opening that door.
Like,
Especially,
that movie was so fucking stupid.
I liked it.
Yeah, I
mean,
can explain it in like 20 words or less.
Yeah, I just like
because of something a woman made up in her head.
I like the undead Doctor Strange with the cape of all the, like the souls and stuff. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, oh hey, I can take you to another universe where your kids don't have a mom.
Let me just use this grimoire real quick.
I mean, granted, it would have been a shorter movie, but it makes a lot more sense than what they did.
Well, and it would have been a good idea for that different universe to use that Mr. Fantastic, I believe, too, because I felt like he was a good fit as far as, as a short casting. I thought he fit that character pretty well.
Yeah, but it's hard to take comedic actors in more serious roles.
It is and it isn't, I guess. I mean, because everybody knows Jim from The Office, obviously, but like it's cool that he was able to branch out into a little bit more of a serious role, which I thought, like I said, I think he portrayed Mr. Fantastic well in that small bit that he was in. I didn't like how they killed him off, though. I thought it was kind of dumb.
Well, he
rolled him
has
up like
been
toothpaste.
doing the is it Amazon Originals where he's what's his name? Jack Ryan. He's done a pretty good job at that. I know I'm a huge fan of that series because I watched the movie with Harrison Ford, and I'm like, well, how are they gonna match that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, possibly, but I think there's so many unexplored storylines we can use for these characters, but it feels like the movies just want to retell the same one. Oh, how did this kid's parents die? Oh, some robber shot him. Now
they didn't do
he now dresses up like a bat.
Speaking of like stuff they need to do, they need to do like a Batman Beyond a live action, I feel.
Thank you. Yes, that would be a great series. It's like, yeah, we're still getting a Batman, but it's not the same.
It's just a younger Batman. Well, technically, he is Bruce Wayne. I guess technically,
the son
just
of
a test tube baby, Bruce Wayne. But yeah, well, and the thing was too is I was watching the animated series not too long ago, and it was the episode where he finds out that he basically was a clone when Amanda Waller said, it wasn't hard to clone you because, Bruce Wayne leaves his DNA all over the city when he fights and whatever, doesn't clean it up.
I love how she added that little, it's like one of those unnecessarily adult jokes they added in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I get what you're saying. But it was just cool, like how like he basically was like talking to her, and Amanda Waller's like really old at this point, and now like I think
Well,
this was
we
after
all
Bruce. Yeah, but I mean this was like further in like the series, like when Amanda Waller was much older, like she was like an old lady now, and I think Bruce passed after that.
Well, no, they're both in their 80s, I want to say. 80s, maybe 90s.
Yeah, it was something like that. I can't remember. But she was basically just telling him, like, we basically recreated Batman or Bruce Wayne's backstory for you. So that way you were basically in the same mindset as what Bruce was. Like, oh, my parents died, and then I want to spend my life, avenging and doing the good deed or whatever. But yet I have daddy issues.
Just to find out that he's going to have daddy issues anyway.
Right. But yeah, we definitely need a live action Batman Beyond.
I would work with a live action Batman Beyond.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah.
I think we all would.
Especially if they get Michael Keaton to play old Bruce Wayne.
I could see that. That would be cool too, yeah.
Well, I mean, who would be the main villain? We would probably need Blight. Or at least the man that becomes Blight. Derek Powers, that's it.
The question is who would they get to cast? Who would...
Hopefully it'd be like Zack Snyder. I like Zack Snyder's take on a lot of his movies because they're a little bit more dark and edgy versus trying to play it safe by Warner Brothers.
Well, the reason why DC animated stuff works a lot better is because the people that are involved are actually nerds.
Yeah.
So they actually know their source material. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Tim Burton movies were actually pretty good, but I think that's like they stopped getting good after that.
Well, that's why I watched the Zack Snyder cut of Batman because it was cool at the end when they were in the alternate universe where everything was pretty much a deserted planet at that point. Everything was destroyed, and he was talking smack. Joker was sitting on the car talking smack to Bruce, and then basically he said something else about Harley dying, and then they both kind of like went at each other, but they obviously realized that they have a bigger picture to deal with.
Ooh, that would be a great Batman Beyond movie, Return of the Joker.
Yeah, but didn't he
probably kind of like the same? Although to be fair, it's probably going to be like the same thing you get with all those Disney live action abortions.
But didn't they in the animated series? Didn't he kill Joker after he found out like Joker killed Bruce Wayne or whatever? But weren't they sitting in a diner and he had makeup on and
no,
he
that
said
was a different one.
That's right. Yeah.
Under the Red Hood. You're thinking.
Yeah.
Was that
was crazy?
The alternate takes of it or something like that?
That was.
It was cool though. It's like just because he said a certain phrase and then it just clicked and he just grabs the knife off the counter and stabs him in the eye. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. And then you see all the makeup start coming off of his face as he sits there and laughs and dies. It was crazy.
Yeah, so maybe an Under the Red Hood movie or Batman Beyond movie. I am good with either or. Or
even a Flashpoint movie would be cool too.
Didn't we have one?
We had a Flash movie, but I don't know if that was like a alternate timeline where like Aquaman and Wonder Woman were fighting. You know, that's the one I was talking about. I think it's Point Break or Flashpoint or Point Break. One of the, I can't remember what the title was called, but it was something like that. It was just crazy to me. Like they obviously didn't show it, but like how like Aquaman and Wonder Woman were like basically like cutthroat, doing whatever I need to do to win this fight, and then
I remember that. They also had an affair for a while.
Yeah. And then like a lightning strike happened and you just watch Wonder Woman gut these two kids like out of nowhere. I'm like, you don't see that on TV. Well, obviously you can't show that on TV, but like it was just crazy that they even put it in there.
To be fair, half the shit they show in comics makes you wonder why they put it in there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it gets more context to the viewer. You know, they're like, oh man, what's gonna happen in the next issue that comes out, you know, something like that.
Like, is there any good non-DC or Marvel comic that'd be a good movie?
I don't know. The last Guardians it was okay. It wasn't that great. So I was gonna say Guardians, but
yeah.
And where I'm at too, I'm like, eh.
Maybe a Teenage Mutant Turtle movie that doesn't have Shredder as a villain. like we were talking about that for a while. Like I don't know, maybe they go against the Triceratons. That'd be pretty cool.
Or what was that old? I don't think those guys have any correlation with DC or Marvel, but that old shark show where they had they were like superheroes.
Oh yeah, it's basically the shark version.
Street Sharks.
Yeah, that would be a cool.
That was when they were making all sorts of things, like they were doing the Straight Sharks, Biker Mice.
Yeah. They had those monsters in the sewer. That's an old cartoon.
Weird one with the cowboys.
Okay. I don't know that one.
That sounds familiar.
I know, it's weird. It's like they're anthropomorphic cows, but they're also cowboys, and they rode horses.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's like a weird BoJack Horseman kind of a thing.
Okay, that sounds like a fever dream.
Half of the shows from the 90s are.
Yeah.
Or actually a legitimate Beast Wars movie.
Yeah. They did that with the last Transformers movie was good because they kind of introduced them, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I thought was sweet, but now I'm like, yeah, I want more of that. Like, give me more of that. Like, let me watch Optimus Primal.
Like, just do it where they're on prehistoric Earth and everything. I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious that they were on prehistoric Earth and they didn't transform into a lot of prehistoric animals. So it was like, only 3 of them? It was like a T-Rex, a raptor, and a pteranodon. The rest were all modern-day animals. Well, 2 fusosaurs, but the roots of which were both already existing animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a great movie.
All right. Well, on that note, I have to jump. I got to get back. So.
All right. Catch you later, Sean.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Sean. So you're the host. Do you want to wrap this up, or?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right. So what fun sponsor do we have today? Cannabis? Do we have condoms as our sponsor? Or do we have Viagra? What wonderful adult-based product do we have as a sponsor?
None today.
All right, terrific. Well,
we'll just keep it casual.
All right. Well, this has been fun. I'm going to bounce since we got nothing else that we need to discuss. Stay tuned this month for Wolverine versus the Hulk and subsequently its mid-quel episode, 12 Angry Mutants. Sean, I'll catch you around. Kayla, I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
And